YouTube.
Hi everybody, and welcome to our channel. My name is Sam.
My name is Ryan.
And you're here. Thank you so much. Yay, you. Yay,
Good
us.
for you. Good for you for finding the good content on the internet.
Happy to have you here. Guys, for returning Sam and Ryan subscribers, this is a good day. This is a good day for you. Because guess what's back?
The Intelligent Drinking Game, Classy Edition. We have a very expensive bottle of wine here. It's a fruit wine. And if you like fruit wines as much as I do... Moira Rose, anyone?
Come on.
It's a fruit wine. It's blueberry with a Riesling.
We got this from Solvang, our little trip to Solvang to celebrate Ryan's birthday.
And it is exquisite, isn't it, Sam? Wow.
Indeed.
Summer in a glass.
If you are not familiar with what the Intelligent Drinking Game is, guess what? It's pretty simple. We drink and talk about intelligent things.
We drink and talk about things.
Yeah, because as I said that, I was like, and what are we talking about today? Romantic comedies.
Yeah, nothing really smart about that.
They can be. The good ones are.
So, the internet has been posing this question that Samantha and I will be diving into today, which is essentially, what happened to rom-coms? Where did they go?
Where'd they go?
You know what I mean?
Where'd they go? Is there room for a comeback from them? Hopefully. You look at the 2000s, and it was flooded with romantic comedies. Even from the 90s, too.
Absolutely.
Even the 80s. The 80s, 90s, 2000s. What did people want? Romantic comedies. They were everywhere. So many of my favorite movies, I feel, are from the romantic comedy genre from like the 80s to early 2000s. But after 2010, it feels like they kind of dwindled.
Yeah.
And obviously I know people are still trying to make them, and it's not like people stopped releasing movies, but I'm talking about big box office success from a romantic comedy. Studios used to be like churning these things out because it's what people wanted, and they're gone. Why? Why? That's what we're here to discuss today. Cheers, Ryan.
Clink.
Nice.
Ah! I'm gonna say it's a C.
D.
It's not a D.
G.
No.
A.
What did I say? C?
You said C.
It's a B. I was very close. You were not close at all.
No, I said A.
Anyway, that's not what we're doing.
No.
Charlie Puth.
Come on.
Give us free stuff. Traditionally, we ask questions, then we drink with the questions, we get drunker, and the questions keep happening, and we're drunk for them. But we wanted to start this video off with just kind of a general conversation about rom-coms and where they went, and then we'll ask rom-com based questions. Samantha, take it away.
The romantic comedy. I want to find her again. I think there are some pretty obvious correlations about like where the rom-com went. You know, you look at how popular genres have changed, and it makes sense. I mean, I think that there's likely a correlation between people realizing that they want to see more than some of the same tropes over and over again. Women likely wanted to be seen differently than just the object of a man's desire, or just a woe is me, will my high school crush go out with me, you know, type. It makes sense. There were a lot of tropes that were continuously like played out over and over again.
And usually that ended up with the man pursuing the woman and the woman basically being more of a plot device than a character.
Basically. And even though there are so many wonderful romantic comedies, like they are just wonderful in all their romantic comedy glory, they're, you know, they have their flaws. And if you look at the amount of rom-coms released in the early 2000s, I found an IMDb list, and it lists 112 items under 2000s rom-coms, just 2000s alone. So there was a lot of content out there. People potentially got overwhelmed too. It was a lot to keep up with.
Just to go through the list, what women want, Amelie, The Wedding Planner,
Bridget Jones's Diary,
Serendipity, Made in Manhattan, Sweet Home Alabama,
Two
My
Weeks
Big
Notice.
Fat Greek Wedding, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Love Actually,
Ella Enchanted, 13 Going on 30, 50 First Dates, The Wedding Date, Just Friends, Hitch, Failure to Launch, The Holiday, Waitress, Knocked Up, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Maid of Honor, Definitely Maybe, The Proposal, The Ugly Truth.
So like these are movies that everyone has heard of, everyone has seen. They're like cinema classics. And in a sense, they're all the same thing.
Yeah, so like you kind of understand why the rom-com genre in this way has dwindled. But also, you brought up an interesting point when we were talking about this too. Like, what do we think the rom-com genre was essentially replaced by?
Right, well, when you think about, the rom-com genre kind of disappeared around 2010, and the first Marvel movie, Iron Man, came out in 2008. So the rom-com genre, which had its heyday, I think especially in the 2000s and in the late 90s, seems to be replaced in cinematic history with blockbuster CGI action thrillers ushered forward by the age of Disney, what with Star Wars and Marvel content, especially Marvel content, because every big blockbuster hit is either the niche Oscar art films or the big splashy Disney action films from Marvel.
The action films or just like the Pixar films kind of completely took over.
Yeah. In the 2000s, everyone was talking about the rom-com in the theater, go see this movie. And now it's, have you seen Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness? Have you seen the latest Avengers? Have you seen the latest Star Wars? Like, that's what the conversation is.
That's
so it
what the
feels
box
like
office is.
that's kind of where things shifted to, which is sort of funny because like action movies and superhero movies especially are incredibly formulaic. So the argument that the rom-com went away because it was too formulaic doesn't really make sense because it was replaced by something equally, if not more so formulaic, just not, I guess, as sexist. Although action movies tend to still center around males. So that's kind of like a brief history as we see it of rom-coms, where they came from, where they went, what replaced them, blah, 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 blah. There's a broader conversation to be had about like, are rom-coms coming back? What do you think that's gonna look like? Et cetera, et cetera. So now it's time to bring in the questions, where we ask questions, take big gulps of wine, get wasted, and talk about things. Let's start with a nice healthy sip of our expensive blueberry fruit wine. And ask the first question. Alrighty, wasted.
Here we are. What makes a movie a romantic comedy?
Romantic comedy.
This might seem like a really easy question because it is, but I see a lot of movies kind of billed or pitched as a romantic comedy, and I'm like, no, that movie's a drama. I think the movie itself obviously needs romance and comedy, but the plot needs to be about a relationship.
Needs to be centered around the romance, right?
It needs to be, the plot itself needs to be centered exactly around the romance, the relationship, whatever that conflict is, needs to be about a relationship, a lack of relationship, or whatever, like whatever the journey is, that's what makes it a romantic comedy. When I was doing some research, I saw that Remember Me was listed as a romantic comedy. Now, if you have seen Remember Me starring Robert Pattinson, you know that is a drama. If anything, it's more about the relationship between like the father and son dynamic. It's not like, just because there's a couple in it doesn't mean it's a romantic comedy. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Well, and of course, all of these things are intersectional. There are romantic dramedies.
Sure.
You know, like P.S. I Love You.
That's true.
And there
Or like The Notebook.
Right. And then there are dramas, and then there are romances, where the plot is about romance, it just isn't a comedy.
Pride and Prejudice. It has comedic moments, but that's not a rom-com at all. It's a romantic movie. Dromantic.
A dromance.
A dromance period piece.
Yeah. I still like dromance. So, yeah, I think what makes a romantic comedy, romance, comedy, and the plot centers around romance. The relationship, the romance.
Yeah.
And also usually, like, I think a definitive piece of the genre is also the tropes.
Absolutely. I mean, we'll get into that next. Further questions. Stop predicting the questions, Ryan.
Well, let's take another sip of our fruit wine and talk about and do more questions.
You never saw this question coming.
Is it about romantic comedy
No,
tropes?
You never saw it coming.
I bet
okay?
it is.
What is a romantic comedy trope that you are tired of seeing?
Oh.
Let me at him. Okay, so mine is probably big time career woman gives up job for third grade crush. I think it's a trope I don't need. I find it very hard to believe that Miss Powersuit gave up her $4 million penthouse in Manhattan for a potato farm. With her third grade crush who she hasn't seen since, middle school graduation.
The alliteration and the buzzwords there. Power suit, penthouse, potatoes.
I do love alliteration.
Coming to you this summer.
It's such a, I don't know, I'm just kind of over the classic, business city woman is unhappy because she's not dating someone and ends up with person she hasn't talked to in 20 years.
Yeah.
You
know the trope I'm sick of?
What?
Crossed-armed opposites hate each other but ultimately fall in love.
Okay, so this is awkward because I actually love enemies to lovers.
It's not that it's ineffective or that it's not entertaining. It's just
it's so overdone.
You're tired of seeing it. It's so overdone.
Yeah, the will they won't they, enemies to lovers is I think my guilty pleasure romantic comedy trope. But I will say another one that I hate just because it's they always find out is the bet. That asking that girl out was a bet. And her friends can't know, or oh, I bet you can't take that nerd and turn her into the prom queen. And then inevitably, the night of prom, she finds out that it was a bet, and so she storms off, and he's like, I'm so sorry. Yes, it started out as a bet, but then things changed. And she's like, how can I really know? And he's like, it was never about the money. I don't want the money. You can have it. And she's like, and now you're giving me money? What is this?
Yeah.
Sorry, I kind of got lost there for a second.
Yeah, we were all with you. I honestly, I kind of got bored, not of you talking, but of the trope.
Of the trope. They always find out. That's the thing. It's too obvious of a trope because you always know how it's going to end up. Do you have a trope that you would like to see in rom-coms?
I guess even though it is, historically overdone, hundreds of years old, star-crossed lovers, has never really bothered me. I can still kind of get on the page of wow, it's forbidden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. But even warm bodies.
Yes.
I'm in love with a zombie. That's star-crossed lovers. We're from different places. We're from different times. We're from different alive status.
Next question.
Sips wine.
I don't like that noise. What is a celebrity pairing you would love to see in a romantic comedy?
Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield. Zendaya and Saoirse Ronan.
Meryl Streep and... I almost said a joke answer just
Alec
to upset
Baldwin
you.
again?
No, I almost said Meryl Streep and James Corden just to upset you.
God.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to give you that visual.
Bring back that dream casting from the prom.
Oh, I have one. Okay. This is very specific. I would love to see Jonathan Bailey and Matt Bomer together. I don't know if you know who either of those people are. They're just two gay actors that I would love to see in a rom-com together.
Fierce. Love that.
They're just so pretty.
I mean, just for the straights, should we do one straight version?
Sure, yeah. Oh, yeah, we gave a bunch of gay stuff.
Right. Austin Butler and Scarlett Johansson. Little cougary, but I like that because it's usually an older man pursues a younger.
Thing.
No.
Oh.
Like a true two of my best friends are married. One is in his 30s and one is approaching her 50s.
Oh, I see.
And she is older, he is younger. We have seen the older man pursues a younger woman trope so many times.
Yeah.
An older woman and a younger man. Not it's funny, he's her pool boy. It's actual, real, serious love, and society does not take it seriously.
And that's all the comedic moments that happen in those conversations,
right,
in their relationship.
That they're actually the straight men. That they're actually in the comedy trope of it all. That they're actually playing it very straight. It's very sincere, but society doesn't take them seriously.
And they just keep finding themselves in a bunch of funny situations. Scarlett Johansson and Austin Butler. You know what? Fantastic.
Great.
Greenlit. Make it happen.
New sip, new question. I'm feeling this already.
This is great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh.
What is your favorite romantic comedy?
P.S. I love you.
I've never seen
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's gut-wrenching. It's not like, it's not a rom-com, but the internet would classify it as a rom-com.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
Because,
Is
you know, like Harry Connick Jr. is like quirky, but like it's gut-wrenching. It is so sad, but it is considered, I mean, I would put it in the romantic dramedy kind of sect of things, but like, I think that's a great, because again, it's very tropey, but it's different. It is a couple discovering romance, but one of them is dead and leaving notes all over the place.
Crazy Stupid Love.
Period, end of story.
Period. That's my favorite romantic comedy because I love that it shows like romance in its various stages. And I love a classic like full circle, oh my gosh, all their stories were intertwining the whole time moment, you know?
We have one question left. Do we
do.
just down this glass?
It's so good.
It is good. I'm gonna get more. I'm gonna get to top us off. Get us really. Hold on for a second. We're gonna take a pause and have another glass and get a little drunker.
Here we are. What? Here we are. Final question.
I'm ready.
What is the 2022 romantic comedy?
The comedy that brings romantic comedies back.
Well, I will say, I think Crazy Rich Asians did start a really good chain of like, oh boy, like we love it's a romantic comedy.
I know, but Crazy Rich Asians did not bring into focus, like, romantic comedies need to come back. Crazy Rich Asians brought into focus, like, oh wow, Asian people can act, which is something that, like, white Hollywood has been ignoring for a billion years, and it also said, everyone look at John Chu, he's the future.
He's amazing, yeah. Let's say there's a romantic comedy taking place in 2022. Like, what is it?
I have it.
What is it?
I have it.
Tell it.
Okay.
Share it.
In 2022, the romantic comedy is ultra woke socialist Democrat.
Oh God.
Falls in love with election denying MAGA Republican. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Bernie Sanders Democrat falls in love with Trump Republican. It's brilliant.
But like, do they know each other's political party preference when they meet?
Yeah, they're probably hunting each other.
I'm sorry, what?
You know,
this is the Hunger Games now?
No, it's just Civil War II.
No.
That's what we could call a movie.
No. I'd like to believe that they met, like, that they had like a meet cute somewhere.
A meet cute?
No. I feel like some people are not going to get that joke, but that was brilliant.
Thanks.
Or is it funnier if they just know the whole time?
I think it's funnier if they know the whole time.
And is it funnier
because then
if
it's like,
they
I
don't
hate
care?
crossed-armed opposites fall in love.
Yeah. Fascinating. And then they have to like meet each other's families.
It's brilliant. It could
mend this nation.
Yeah.
Romantic comedies gonna fix America.
So there you have it, folks. Gang, daddy,
pals,
friends. That's our takes on romantic comedies.
I want them back. I know they're kind of making a like small little comeback thanks to companies like Hulu and Netflix and Amazon Prime kind of like producing little independent ones. But I want a big box office one. Put J-Lo in a romantic comedy.
No, J-Lo's toxic.
Do you know what's funny is like she actually was in one and it bombed. It was called Marry Me. It was her and Owen Wilson. So I don't know what you were expecting.
I love Owen Wilson.
I love him, but J-Lo
is trash.
She's
toxic.
a diva. I don't like it anymore. Put Tom Holland and Zendaya in a rom-com for Christ's sake. And don't make them work together again.
No, you know who doesn't have good chemistry? People who are already. You put people together
they have good chemistry.
I know,
Spider-Man.
but it's not fun because you know it.
You know that they're real in real life.
Yes, people who want to be but aren't. That's where the real Hollywood magic is.
This was a
Tom Holland
Friends
and Andrew Garfield, or Zendaya and Saoirse Ronan. Give me something queer. Give me something fierce.
Give me something queer.
And let's go, Hollywood. Balls in your court, Kevin.
Give us romantic comedies, okay? Come on. Judd Apatow, where are you? Give us another rom-com. Cheers.
As always, be sure to like
sure
and
to like and
subscribe.
subscribe.
This was the video about rom-coms.
Hey, if you guys
My
want
favorite glass of
more,
wine.
if you guys want more,
Didn't eat enough today. I'm Ryan McCartan.
if you guys,
Good night, America.
no, if you guys want more intelligent drinking game, because it's been a hot second since we did this. If you want more of this, let us know, please, and give us like topics that you want to see us discuss. While slightly responsibly inebriated, here's your PSA. We are both over 21 and we are at home. We are safe. Thanks.
I'm so tired.
Stay classy, San Diego.
Thanks for stopping by.
Is Anchorman a rom-com?
Kinda.